Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing and swatching this small set of new colors from Kuretake Gansai Tambi. Let's open it. These are the colors that I have added to my collection of 36 Kuretake Gansai Tambi that I have already reviewed in my channel. I'll put the link in the notes. So these are 12 additional lovely colors that we will be swatching and reviewing together today. So if you want to find out if you like these colors, stay with me and let's swatch them together. We had already swatched in my previous video the 36 pens that were very vibrant. Actually, there were some colors missing, so I'm really happy that we can integrate this range today. I think that the greens were okay. They have added two light greens that were missing. The red were okay, so there are no new reds, but there are two pastel colors, lilac and cherry pink. A cobalt blue was missing. We had ultramarine, cerulean, two ultramarine, a Prussian blue, but cobalt, which is a very useful color for me, was missing, and we have it today. There are some beige that are a nice addition, not compulsory, but a nice addition, especially for florals. I thought that earth colors were very, very limited. We only had a yellow ochre, a burnt sienna, and a raw amber deep, which was not very good. And today we have an Indian red and a maroon. Can't wait to swatch them. We have a gray, and we have what they call a blue-gray deep, which I hope is a sort of Payne's gray. Let's find out immediately. Exactly as in the previous set, we don't have any pigment information, but we have this lovely chart on the back of the lid that we can fill with the code number so that we can buy it in open stock. But we're filling my usual sketchbook today for swatches so that we can compare to my other brands, because I always swatch my paint on this sketchbook. This is 100% cellulose, so it's not a particularly favorable paper, but it's the same for all my paint. Okay, let's start from Cherry Blossom. I know that this paint re-wets very easily and has very nice flow on paper. Let's see what it gives. In lighter tones, let's add here. This obviously has some white in it because it's a pastel tone, which is very typical of Asian watercolor, to find some colors that have white in it. I personally don't use them very much, but it can be nice for florals, for instance. I'll try and lift here to see if it lifts easily. Yes. Let's go to lilac, another pastel color. Not a color that I would buy open stock, but if I find it in a set, why not? I might use it. It's very, very light. It's hardly visible. I hope you can see it on camera it's opaque because it has a lot of white in it. Not easy to layer because you don't get a very dark value with it, but that's it. Lilac. Now, Horizon Blue. Horizon Blue is one more pastel color. This is pretty. I think you can make nice skies with it, and also nice florals. Yes, it's pretty. I'm not a pastel colors person, but this can be fun in florals, for instance, or skies. More than a cobalt, this looks like a phthalo. It's not a true cobalt, I think. It's more phthalo. And there is some white still, I think. I can even see some white here. It's a weird type of cobalt, but it's not even granulating, which is unusual for a cobalt, but the flown paper is wonderful, and the color is nice. You know that Kuretake, they say they're made from pigment, but there is no information about the pigments, and maybe if I add more pigment, I start seeing some granulation. So yes, it is granulating actually, so it might be cobalt. You know that cobalt is one of the most granulating blues, together with ultramarine. Let me lift some color here. It's not too staining. Now lime green, once again a pastel color. This is a yellowish green, but I think there is some white because it's too light. It's really a pastel collection, except for maybe some colors, but it's very easy to lift, wonderful dispersion. I will apply some more mastels. Yes, you can see some difference here. And it's a lovely spring green. Now it's April, so it's a good color for the moment. And now what they call greenish yellow. To me, the lime green was already very greenish yellow, but let's see. All these colors are incredibly easy to re-wet. And yes, it is a very similar color actually. I don't see a lot of difference, except that this one is maybe more muted. Oh, I made a mistake. This has no white, I think. More color here. And let's lift here. Here we have the natural beige. It's so light. Maybe I shouldn't have pre-wet the paper for this one, because you can hardly see it, but it's almost a skin tone. You can use it for flowers or maybe sand, but it's very pastel, it's full of white, and it's different to reach different values. So it's almost a gouache, it's a flat color. You don't reach a high variety of values. I'm not crazy about this type of colors that you cannot vary, so it's very flat, and the range of values is very limited. I think the same applies to rose beige. Let's see. Yes, it's another skin color, porcelain skin. It's more, as the name says, is more rosy, but you don't reach a range of values, and it's very weak. It's not my favorite type of color, but I'll try and use it somehow. My favorite pigment is Indian red. And Indian red is usually made with 101 pigment. Yes, this is a true Indian red, which is a colder version of English red. This is absolutely what I expected. Wow, this is great. It's a cold brick color. On the palette, it looks like burnt sienna, but on paper, it has this brick undertone. It's granulating. It has a lovely granulation. And you see the variety of values that you can reach. So nice. Maybe it's too wet, the paper, but I can add colors and get lovely texture and transitions. Look at the lovely transitions. It lifts as well quite easily. Now we go to the maroon, and I have a Perilane maroon from Winsor & Newton, which is not too different from this. It's once again, it looks like a burnt umber on the pen, and then on paper it's this dark, muted, lovely red, a maroon actually, that you can, look at this, you can really layer. You can work very well wet on wet. And it's a beautiful color. It's true we had plenty of reds in the 36 watercolor set, but a maroon like this, it's a very nice, useful addition. Now the gray. I haven't pre-wet the paper. I have not pre-wet it. It's like a French gray. This is also a color that I'm not crazy about because there is white inside. I like my grays to be dark. and this is more a pastel version of gray, which I'm not really crazy about, but it has a nice granulation, which is a lovely thing, but I don't see myself very much using this. Maybe very diluted for white flowers. And now the last one, I didn't have enough space, so I put a smaller round here, the blue-gray deep, which I hope is like Payne's gray, and it is exactly a Payne's gray, a very bluish version, almost an indigo, but yes, it's a Payne's gray, and it's a lovely color. This can be very useful for shadows, and I can see myself using this lovely color. Look at the dispersion on paper, and look at the nice range of values that you get with just one colors. Let's lift some. Okay. Now I'll try to lift some paint in the dry rounds to see if I can do some highlights. So I'll take some clean water and scrub it. Not all colors are easy to lift. Some of them are actually very staining, which is a bit unexpected because Kuretake Gansai Tambi have a reputation for being very easy to lift, even once they dry. Okay, now the paint is dry, and we can make our final comment on this. Let's say that they are lovely colors, but for my taste, for my personal use, I don't think I needed this. Kind of regret buying this because I don't see myself using this very much. Then, because I hate wasting money, I know I will try and paint some florals using this palette, but this will never be a favorite of mine. I don't like pastel colors. Having said this, compared to other pastel colors that I have, these are really lovely, and they have very nice color dispersion, and they are so beautiful, these colors. So if I don't think, will I use them? Yes, I say that the colors are really, really lovely, and the addition of maroon and the Indian red is very, very welcome, as well as the blue-gray deep. So if you're in pastel colors, if you like pastel colors, if you like to paint florals, this can be a really nice addition to your collection. The price point is never too expensive for Kuretake. They're always quite affordable, and you can buy them in open stock online. So maybe if you just like some of these colors, like for instance the beige, which is or the rose beige, which can be nice for skin, for florals, you can buy them. They have a beautiful texture. They are a pleasure to paint with. So I'm not taking into account the fact that I'm not a pastel person, but I must say that the texture, the quality itself is wonderful. Also, they are opaque, like all Kuretake, when you lay down, when they're wet, but they become kind of transparent once they are dry. So if you like pastel colors, I think that these are among the best opportunities on the market. But if you are more like urban sketchers, just like me, then maybe it's not really your cup of tea. But the Indian red, yes, it's really professional quality, and it can be compared to the best Indian reds I have from Rembrandt, for instance. It's very pigmented, it's very nice. Same with the maroon. So I hope that you have liked this video, you have appreciated my review, and if you do so, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. Ciao from Italy!